All right, it's a New Look Network. Hello and welcome to the program. My name is Spumelele Zondi. Now, this week we have information on the winners of the MTN Women in ICT Awards. There are details about some of the tech solutions showcased at World Water Week in Sweden. Journalists discussed how technology impacts their industry at Highway Africa. As it is Heritage Month in South Africa, we find out about an African innovation called Piggybank, Nigeria. Our discussion is on WhatsApp's privacy policy changes. Headley Simons from Mimburn is in Cape Town for that one. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za and email. Let's start with our social media and technology news. To wrap up Women's Month, MTN hosted the Women in ICT Awards. Producer Lebusi Jage caught up with some of the ladies that were nominated.
Stephanie Kauper's Innovator Recognition win was prelude to all the other well-deserved accolades collected at the inaugural MTN Women in ICT Awards. MTN South Africa CEO Mteto Nyati says that the reason for these awards is to shine the spotlight on women who are doing exceptional work.
We need to be reflecting the demographics of the country, and that is the intention of a program like this one, where we're saying, let us go out there, find women who are doing exceptionally good work, highlight them, showcase them, so that a girl child may look up and say, maybe a profession in the ICT space is something that I want to take.
Women innovators such as co-founder of Sweep South, a mobile app that helps homeowners find domestic help, and vice versa, Aisha Pandor, made it into the final list of nominees.
So Sweep South is an app and a website that connects domestic cleaners to homeowners. And what we're really trying to do is facilitate that process of connecting the two sides together, and just making that connection from people who are looking for work, domestic cleaners, to people who are looking for home cleaning services, just trying to facilitate that and make it a lot easier, and help people obviously to find work opportunities.
MTN says that the quality of submissions for these awards demonstrates the immense contribution that women have made to the growth of the ICT sector in South Africa. Other categories included Outstanding Women ICT Professional Award, which was snatched by Zimkitap One, an account manager at Bright House, a supplier of ICT solutions. Irene Chandi of Smile Communications took home the Entrepreneur Recognition Award, while Sheman Rao Farista, a top ICT graduate, walked away with the Graduate Award. The awards ceremony was held in the north of Johannesburg on the 31st of August, which was also marked the last day of Women's Month.
If you see ladies playing Ukush in the township, this is what you'll see.
Guests at the gala event were treated to a night of good music and laughter.
783 million people do not have access to clean drinking water. Now, people are coming up with innovative solutions to purify and test the cleanliness of water. Hesina Gori filed this for us from Stockholm in Sweden.
3.4 million deaths globally are due to waterborne diseases. Testing drinking water thus becomes imperative. Technology has been used to create an application which lets you test your water with your smartphone.
One very good way of deciding what water you want to drink is by testing sources, but it doesn't make a lot of sense if you have to send samples to a laboratory, wait for 3 weeks, and then it's very expensive, and then you don't know when the results come and what you're supposed to do with it. So we thought it's better to use tests built around a mobile phone, using off-the-shelf reagents. People can do it themselves, can manage their own water sources.
Fast forward to this virtual reality video. It takes you to Nepal, where they're rebuilding their water supply after last year's earthquake.
People really feel connected to the persons in the film because they get to follow Krishna, a 58-year-old guy working with water systems in Nepal, and they almost feel like they get to know him in one way.
Water is a vital part of our existence. Delegates now have the important task of taking what they learnt back home to ensure that in a decade, the taps don't run dry.
the use of alternative, innovative water purification solutions is one of the things that we also are beginning to promote. And on the sanitation side, we want to reclaim back the drinkable water that is being used for sanitation.
Hasina Gori, SABC News, Stockholm, Sweden.
Now, the internet as a communication tool in Africa was the discussion at this year's Highway Africa. The annual media meeting brings together scholars, journalists and academics at Rhodes University in Grahamstown. This was the 20th edition of the conference. Ivue Bodi was there for us.
The internet plays a huge role in today's society, and media platforms have or are looking to expand into this digital world. This brings new challenges to journalism ethically and financially.
The nature of production of news has changed radically, but you also will find that the internet itself is affecting our business models. Where we used to have people read newspapers, those same people have moved now online. But the money has not followed us online. So we still have to produce the news, but no longer have the same money. So all we are trying to interrogate now is how do we generate resources, revenue, profit.
The power of social media and how it's a global link is also on the agenda.
I think social media is incredibly important at the moment for activism. Using Zimbabwe as an example, you see all the emerging movements at the moment from the last year. Hashtag this flag, hashtag Tajamuka, hashtag this gown.
The media is also a vital communication link between the government and the communities at large.
The South African Local Government Association, together with its partners in local government, Cities Network and the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, have identified the media as one of the key partners towards strengthening local government. We understand that both sectors have a common purpose, a common commitment towards a common public good.
The conference again served as a platform for media houses, journalists and media-related companies to think about how to address many challenges.
Now, two of the world's largest device makers, Apple and Samsung, were big stories of the week, with Samsung recalling its latest smartphones, the Galaxy Note 7, and Apple Inc. being slapped with a hefty tax fine by the European Commission. These are some of the stories that made tech headlines in the last week.
This week's biggest story in the tech space is Apple Inc.'s tax saga. The tech giant has been slapped by the European Commission. It's been ordered to pay up to 13 billion euros in back taxes to the Irish government, 40 times more than any previous known demand for such a case.
Well, the figures that we use in our decision are the figures that we get from Apple themselves, and some of the figures back from 2011 come from the US hearings. There are very, very little, if any, figures in the public domain. And our investigation is not in the Apple Corporation as such. It is Apple Sales International and Apple Operation Europe.
Apple CEO Tim Cook has denounced this ruling, deeming it quote-unquote political crap. He also charged that Apple was targeted by EU regulators. Now, it seems that Apple is not the only smartphone maker that's in hot water. Tech giant Samsung Electronics says it will halt the sales of its Galaxy Note 7 smartphones and will prepare replacement devices for phones already sold after finding problems with the battery cell used.
소비자 안전을
By putting our top priority on customer safety, we've decided to halt sales of Galaxy Note 7 and offer new replacement handsets to all customers, no matter when they bought it.
Samsung says new sales of the phones in the affected markets would begin after it deals with the replacement needs, which the firm estimates would take about 2 weeks. And moving over to the US of A, an explosion destroyed a Falcon 9 rocket belonging to Elon Musk's SpaceX and its cargo during preparations for a routine test firing at Cape Canaveral in Florida on Thursday. 2 days before it had been due to blast off and place a satellite in orbit. SpaceX said there were no injuries and that an anomaly during the static fire test resulted in the loss of the rocket and a communications satellite owned by Israel-based Space Communication, which was going to be used by Facebook FB.O to expand internet access in Africa.
Remember that it's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za and email. Welcome back. Now, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg has been on an African trip in the last week. He's been traveling with Nigerian Ime Achibong, who is the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Facebook. In Nigeria, Zuckerberg spoke to young innovators about entrepreneurship. In Kenya, he said he was learning about mobile money, as Kenya is the world leader in the field. Some of the photographs on your screen right now are from his visit to iHub in Nairobi. They were shared by iHub on the Incubator Facebook page. Let's listen to what Zuckerberg said when he spoke to Nigerian entrepreneurs about WhatsApp plans.
We just did this update to our data use policy on WhatsApp last week. And this was actually the primary reason why we wanted to do this, was to make it so that, let's say you're a business and you have a Facebook page and maybe you're building a bot for Messenger, and you also want to connect with people on WhatsApp, so you can kind of know who your customers are and talk to them with a unified voice across all those different services. You figure we own these different services, you should be able to do that. That's a thing that we should provide to businesses. And that's the thing that we want to be able to do long term. So, if you're a business, you should be able to, keep track of who your customers are and communicate with them on a steady basis through WhatsApp. If you're a person who's using WhatsApp, you should be able to reach out to the businesses that you interact with to get customer support or buy things or do whatever you need. That's definitely a big part of what we need to do long term, but we're just at the beginning of that journey.
Facebook users have linked their phone numbers with their Facebook. Facebook owns a mobile phone chat app, WhatsApp, which requires you to log in with your phone number. Now, Facebook wants to use some of the data they mine on WhatsApp. This privacy policy change is now being challenged in the Delhi High Court in India. To discuss this further, we are joined by Hadley Simons, who's editor at MTN.com. He is in our Cape Town studios. Hello and welcome to the program, Hadley.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, Hadley, tell us about these privacy policy changes.
Sure. So essentially what WhatsApp and Facebook are doing is WhatsApp is allowing, or Facebook is essentially taking WhatsApp's user information. So this means your contact number, your contact list, then also your usage data. So that means your device information, when last you were online, all these sort of things, and they are using it. So it's quite an interesting time we live in terms of actual mobile usage in terms of social media.
They're using it how though, Hadley? Are they going to share it to third parties?
This is the interesting thing. We don't know for sure. I mean, if they say they're not going to be sharing it with third parties, I'm not 100% sure if I would believe them. But they are going to be using it for better advertising and essentially to make it more accurate in terms of advertising. They're going to be using things like your location data, for example, to make more like hyper-local advertising. So maybe your favorite shop nearby would be advertising to you. So all those sort of things. It's very similar to what Google does with Gmail and Android and all those sort of things, where they use all your data to essentially, it's their business, their big business is advertising. So that's exactly what they're going to be doing, making better advertising.
Now, if I don't want my information to be used or mined for Facebook, can I opt out?
You can opt out, but they don't make it easy for you. That's the bad side to this. Initially, when they first launched this policy, they had a splash screen which essentially said something to the effect of, agree in a big button, and then you had to click read more to find the, opt-out information. If you clicked agree and you want to kind of backtrack, you figure out, maybe this isn't for you, or you don't want WhatsApp information such as your number and contact list to be on Facebook, what you can instead do is, and you have about 2 weeks now to do this, you visit settings and then account, and then there's a box called share my account info, and you just untick that box, and your WhatsApp information should not be shared with Facebook.
How often or how common is it for different tech companies to use information that they mine online for advertising or any other purpose, really?
Yeah, so this is not uncommon, actually. I mean, the big example, like I said, was Google. I mean, Google's in the business of selling ads across the web, no matter where you visit. So that is the big example. Whether you're using an Android phone, Gmail, the Chrome web browser, all these sort of services, they're all, wherever you are at online, chances are good that companies are using that information for advertising purposes or for marketing purposes, or for purposes other than the intended reason that you gave it to them in the first place.
Let's talk about that, because they tell us that it could be for advertising, but can it be for other reasons?
I mean, like I say, their main business is advertising, and that's where a lot of their money lies. But it's hard to kind of to imagine like the old way of thinking of, okay, this is going to be essentially, like cold calling or something. I don't think they would, like the optimist in me thinks it wouldn't really be that way. But I mean, stranger things have happened in the past when it comes to your information. But the important thing is as well is how they are securing that information, because I mean, it's one thing for them to use, advertising info or your info for advertising, but if that info gets out, such as your phone number and your real world information, I mean, we've seen it happen with Dropbox most recently, where your user information gets leaked. So that's going to be one important challenge that they're going to have, is to there will always be people who are going against this sort of data being used for advertising. But the amount of critics they'll have if this data gets out would be just monumental.
Now, WhatsApp has about 1 billion users internationally. Do people have alternatives if they don't want to continue with WhatsApp because of this new privacy policy?
Yeah, I mean, on paper there are alternatives. I mean, there's WeChat, there's Telegram. There are a couple of services in that regard, instant messaging platforms. But the biggest issue is always the question you have to ask yourself first, and that's, where are my friends and loved ones, and that ultimately sways many people into making their choice. I mean, you see it even in the gaming arena. People buy, PlayStations or Xboxes based on what their friends have or their loved ones have, so they can interact with each other. So it's really a catch-22. If you want to, get a better, if you want to get a better service, the best service on paper, it all depends on where your friends are at, regardless of how good the other service is.
Now, Hedley, we do know that in Delhi, in India, they're being taken to court. Is it all doom and gloom? Are there positives to this?
I honestly don't think that they'll be truly receptive to it. The Delhi case is one of those cases, and I think they have I'm not a legal expert, but they do have a good argument on at least to the layman, in that they are saying there are many people, there are 1 billion people using WhatsApp. I mean, how many people actually read this, are capable of reading this, and rely upon it in the first place? So the vast majority of people aren't necessarily tech savvy. I mean, they might just click through and just say yes because they want to keep using WhatsApp. They want to stay in touch with their friends and loved ones. And I don't think, honestly, that WhatsApp and Facebook made it easy enough for the vast majority of people to understand the ramifications of this. And, terms and conditions these days, I mean, you know, a lot of people don't read them.
Yeah, we just click and we'll click accept and that's it.
You know?
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us, Hedley Simons.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Hedley Simons there is from memburn.com. This week we caught up with Savara Mudigi from Kenyan band Sauti Soul. He told us what his favorite technology is.
Isabella, one day I'll be a superstar. We'll go to America, a big show in a stadium. Woo, 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 woo. Isabella.
Hey yo, my name is Savara. I play with Sauti Soul. My favorite piece of technology right now, I would say it's M-Pesa. M-Pesa was discovered in my country, in Kenya, whereby it's a money transfer service whereby you can, through your mobile. And I discovered all through since the beginning of the year, I've never had cash. And I realized, oh my God, it's becoming cashless. So it's nice, it's safe. So far, I think that's my favorite piece of technology.
YOLO, only live once, so me, I wanna have some fun. Kuja mifupa kama melo iko.
Now this is Trends, of course, your one-stop serving of all that's juicy and trending in the world of entertainment and showbiz. My name, of course, is Refill Wemwilo.
I'm Dr. Selom Daung, and this is our talk.
A very good morning and welcome to Media Monitor. I'm your host, Alicia Jolly.
My name is Dumila Matters.
My name is Mpo Sedu. What time is it? It's question time.
For your daily dose of current affairs, tune in to the SABC News Channel.
It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, as it is Heritage Month in South Africa, we're looking at some tech innovations that have come out of Africa. This week, we have a money-saving service called Piggybank Nigeria.
Piggybank basically lets you save little amounts of money daily, weekly, or monthly automatically without thinking about it until you reach your savings target. So you create an account online, you create a savings plan, right? So the process of creating a savings plan is you set the amount you want to save. You can save $1 a day, or you can save $1,000 a month, right? So you set that amount, set the frequency, set the target, and you add your bank details, your card details precisely. So, and the rest is automatic. So as much as we've created a digital solution to solving the problem of savings, we also want to tap into a huge market that comprises of the unbanked and the unbanked population, which is a very huge market. So what we did was that we created a mobile money solution that allows every individual save money with our physical agents. So we created agents across communities in Nigeria who can actually come to you, collect money, and then just with your mobile phone, So you get an SMS saying, okay, you've saved 20,000 naira today, or you saved $1,000. Just you keep getting credit alert on your phone. So with your mobile phone, it's very easy. With SMS, you can actually reach out to those who are unbanked and on the bank and actually help them save.
All over the world, Mother Teresa being declared a saint has been the most trending topic on social media. Serena Williams has also been trending as she is set to pass Steffi Graf's Open Era Grand Slam title record. Here's what else people have been sharing on social media. South Africans have been tweeting about Jazz on the Lake. It's a concert that takes place at Zoo Lake in Johannesburg. This year, they watched local and continental acts like Nati and Shewun Kuti. In Nigeria and Kenya, people have been tweeting about their favorite childhood cartoons. Celebrities and ordinary citizens were reminiscing. Many all over the world were wishing the biggest pop star, Beyonce, a happy birthday. She turns 35. And that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We leave you with a video of fans at the exhibition celebrating Star Trek's 50th anniversary. From me and the rest of the network team, have a good one.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
News Today provide news updates giving a wealth of knowledge. Breaking stories and crossing live for you. We follow business developments intensely. Experts and analysts tackle all challenging issues for you. We cover stories locally and abroad to keep you informed. We cover all sporting codes just for you. We are sure to give you weather to be ready for the day. Stay tuned to News Today at 3 p.m. from Monday to Friday on SABC News.
From the moment you start your day.
My biggest question is how I got myself here on time. Yeah. This is so early for a comedian, I gotta be honest.
We are there for you. We bring your morning into perspective.
As news breaks throughout the morning,